Learning how to play tennis has improved the quality of my life over any other thing I've done in the past few years. It's introduced me to amazing new friends. It's given me just a fun outlet at the end of the day, and it's kept me in really good shape. Like, it is a really good workout.
But most of all, it's just plain fun. But the thing is, if you didn't learn as a kid, it can be really intimidating to start playing as an adult, but it's not impossible.
This is going to be the guide I wish I had when I first started playing tennis. How to actually become a tennis player. Not like a pro player, just like a decently intermediate player that can have a fun time playing with people and get a good workout in. There's so many reasons to pick up this sport, this hobby, but the main one is it's just plain fun. It's just the most fun way to work out. And if you don't believe me, listen to Matthew McConaughey.
I went to play tennis started to love it. Is it okay to have this much fun? I'm having so much fun.
Okay, he wouldn't lie to you, and I wouldn't either.
So one mistake I made at the beginning of my tennis journey was thinking I could just pick up the technique on my own.
So when you're very first starting out, I wouldn't recommend just going to a court with a friend and hitting, because you're both probably gonna hit the ball out a lot.
This is some actual footage of the first time I tried to play before taking a lesson. I thought because I'm athletic and grew up doing gymnastics, I could just pick it up. It really doesn't matter how athletic you are. With tennis, you have to learn the proper technique.
You're gonna reinforce bad habits. You can watch as many YouTube videos as you want, but there's just nothing like taking at least one private lesson when you're starting out, so you have a few things to focus on. When you're watching a YouTube video, you know, the video doesn't know what you're doing wrong.
Taking private lessons will definitely improve your skills the fastest, but you don't have to really do them forever. It's better to invest in a few at the very beginning. It'll make it more fun. So when you're going out to play with a friend, you can actually rally and you won't just be chasing balls that you hit out the whole time. I know this seems like a very obvious tip, but if you skip this step, seriously, you will not have very much fun playing.
And one tip I have, if you don't want to spend a ton of money on private lessons, is do a semi-private lesson. Cuts the cost in half. Just find a friend who also wants to learn how to play tennis, and you guys can split the cost. Most places it's going to be $100 for a private lesson, so a semi-private lesson would be about $50.
And trust me, it's worth the money in the beginning because it's going to make it so much more fun for you to play.
Quick break from the tennis to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Belkin. Over the years, I've had to make sure my iPhone is charged up to get all this footage of me playing tennis, and this right here is the most beautiful charger I've ever owned. It's their 3-in-1 phone, watch, and AirPods charger. It just looks so good on my nightstand instead of having 3 different cords to charge everything and just all the clutter everywhere. The cool thing about this stand is it actually charges 5 times faster than other wireless chargers. So it's rivaling the charging speeds of a wired charger without all the clutter. It's also quite sustainable. It's made from 85% post-consumer recycled materials, and the packaging doesn't have any plastic. I can't even tell you guys the amount of times I have forgotten to charge my Apple Watch specifically because I just couldn't find the cord. And now it's so easy because I just always have this on my nightstand, so everything is charged every morning. No more forgetting one of the things, because keeping track of 3 different chargers if you travel a lot, so easy to lose them. So this is awesome to just have on my nightstand, so I always have everything charged up ready to go in the morning. I actually have quite a few different products from Belkin that I use, and they're all just such good quality. This is the best if you want a beautiful wireless charging setup that is going to be faster than most of the other wireless chargers out there. So check it out. I'll link it below. I love mine so much, and I think you guys would love it too. Okay, back to the tennis. So once you've taken a private lesson and you practice what you've learned a bit, I would say the next step would be to take some group lessons for a couple different reasons. One, you're gonna meet a lot of other people at your same skill level that you can practice with outside of the class, which is gonna make tennis just more affordable. If you're constantly taking classes and doing private lessons, you're gonna spend thousands of dollars playing. Group classes are great for just meeting people who are at your skill level, maybe a little better than you, that are down to practice for free. There are public courts all over the world, literally every city. That's kind of the beauty of tennis. You can play it anywhere for free as long as you have a racket and some balls. When it comes to group classes, there's a couple different kinds. You can do a clinic, which is going to be more teaching you technique, probably less repetition, and honestly like a little more boring, but good for learning technique. And then there's going to be what's called live ball, which is a very fast-paced style of playing. It's essentially doubles, but no serving. There's a coach feeding a ball in, and you are just constantly playing. It's an amazing cardio workout, and it is so great for just getting a lot of repetition in, which you're gonna need. Like, yeah, you can take a clinic and focus on the technique, but if you're not practicing that and like getting that muscle memory down, then you're not going to get much better. So kind of doing a mix of both I think is good. You'll probably find live ball to be a lot more fun and a great way to meet other people that are into playing.
If you do a combination of lessons and live ball, you're gonna get better so fast because you're gonna have a place to practice what you learn in those lessons. What you wanna do is search beginner tennis clinic and then put in your city, or beginner live ball tennis and add in your city. If you are brand new and you're looking at live ball, make sure it's 1.0 or 1.5. It can be a little confusing if you're new to this because a lot of places will just put the number rating. 1.0 to 1.5 is very beginner, like you've never played before basically. 2.0 to 2.5 would be kind of like beginner 2. You've played for a few months, maybe a year or less. 3.0 to 3.5 is a solid intermediate, and then 4.0 and above is considered advanced. I love taking classes, but at like $40 a class, it can definitely add up. That's why I recommend befriending people in the class and booking public courts.
Every city has public tennis courts, but it can be a bit confusing knowing how to book them. Here's what you need to know. A certain amount of them in each city are going to be first come, first serve. You can't make a reservation. And then a certain amount are going to be reservation only. They're usually like $10 an hour. It's pretty inexpensive. Even here in LA, it's like $10 an hour. There is no universal online system. You actually have to look it up for each city. And if you're in a big city like LA, you actually have to look it up within each city within the city. Beverly Hills has a different booking system than Santa Monica, than City of LA. City of LA has about 8 different public courts that you can book online. Typically, you're going to be able to book these up to a week in advance. What you want to search for in your city is pay tennis city name. That's where you're going to find the courts that you can book. If you're in a smaller town, you may not even need to ever reserve one. It's just the bigger cities that they get pretty popular. This one I actually didn't have to reserve. It was just open. But it's also 11 a.m. on a Friday, so not a lot of people are playing tennis.
So after meeting people in some classes, booking public courts is a great way to play really often without having to spend so much money.
And with these group classes, it can be hit or miss in terms of friendliness. You might not find people going out of their way to invite you to play, but usually if you introduce yourself, if you ask them if they want to play outside of the class, people are so happy about that. Most people don't really want to do the work of finding a court, arranging a time outside the class. Like, don't expect to go to a class and have a bunch of people to invite you to play. Expect that more than likely you'll probably have to take the initiative in inviting people to go play, but they'll usually be so happy to.
Now let's go over some tips on actually playing that any beginner can kind of keep in mind. The first tip is to make sure you don't stop your swing early. You want to make sure you completely follow through.
So a lot of times when people are starting out playing, they have a tendency to not really finish their shot and fully follow through with that swing. They'll just kind of hit the ball like that and stop right there.
This is what you don't want to do, and this is just the natural instinct for pretty much everyone when they're starting out, is to not really quite finish the shot.
Which is going to cause the ball to go flying up way outside the lines, maybe even outside the court. Pretty common when you're first starting out. I did that a bunch of times and everyone I know also did.
You can really tell in this shot, like you see how I just don't even bring the racket past my body at all? Like that is not what you want to do.
So what you actually want to do is finish the swing, actually even catch it with your other hand to make sure that you're finishing the swing way up here for both your backhand and your forehand. So your backhand, you're going to be way up there. You're not just gonna hit it like that. You're not gonna hit it just like that. You're gonna finish that swing all the way. That's gonna make sure your ball isn't going way up and out of the court. Really the most important thing if you're just wanting to rally with someone for fun. Because if you're both hitting it way out, it's really not gonna be that fun.
I really just wanted to highlight this one because it's not super intuitive. Most people don't follow through with that swing. It feels kind of weird and you really do have to remind yourself to do it at first. But eventually it becomes muscle memory and you'll just do it every time without thinking about it. The next tip is to remember that 90% of playing tennis is footwork. It's making sure you're setting yourself up properly to swing.
If you're not positioning yourself in a good spot to hit the ball, then you're gonna hit it awkwardly. You're gonna be leaning too far, or if you're too close to the ball, even if you're a very good player, if you're lazy with your footwork and trying to lean and get these shots, they're not going to be as good. A lot of coaches will also tell you to keep moving. If you are just a statue, you're just standing there, it's a lot harder to jump and go to a shot. You'll actually notice a lot of times the pros, when they're about to return a serve, they'll do like a little hop before they jump into it. That's because it's really hard to move from a dead stop. It's a lot easier to move when you've already been moving. So you'll see tennis players do little hops, but they're just keeping moving, which is also a better workout.
I mean, this is just straight up the law of inertia. A body in motion stays in motion. It helps to be moving a little bit before you actually run to hit the ball. it's gonna make you a better player because you're gonna be able to just move faster and get to those shots. And the last tip that helped me a lot was preparing for the shot early. This is some old footage from a lesson I took, so the swing isn't perfect, but take note of how I bring the racket back and then I run to the spot where I'm gonna hit it. I'm just preparing really early for the shot. Especially for a backhand shot, I think this is helpful. You can see here, even Medvedev, he is not waiting until he gets to the spot to bring his racket back. He's bringing it back as he's running. When you're a beginner, you have a tendency to just like wait a little too long and then you're in an awkward spot for hitting it. So here's a shot where I didn't prepare early enough. You can see I end up hitting the ball at a weird time because I just don't have the racket back in time. This is really before I learned that you should prepare early. Some pros, you know, don't do this because, well, they're professionals and it can kind of mess with the rhythm for them, but most beginner players tend to prepare way too late. So that's why as a beginner, it's probably better to just focus on preparing early. So these are a few tips that you can keep in mind as a beginner, but like I said, taking an actual private lesson in person is going to be the best way to start learning. Let's talk a bit about the gear. This might be an unpopular opinion, but if you're just starting, I don't think you need to buy an expensive racket. Actually, even more important than the racket is making sure you have proper tennis shoes on. Running shoes are not made for the side-to-side motion of tennis, and you're more likely to trip and fall, sprain an ankle, like actually get injured. I did fall a couple times. That's when I realized, I should probably get some actual tennis shoes that are built for this. It does make a huge difference. If you're just starting out, just use whatever racket you have. I used like a $30 Amazon racket at first. You can upgrade later as you get better. But the shoes are more of a safety thing. You do want to have some good tennis shoes. These are some of the tennis shoes that I've really liked. I have flat feet and these have been really comfortable for me, so I'll link them below if you're interested in trying these out too. So that is my guide to getting into tennis. If you are a tennis player yourself watching, leave your tips for everyone below. We can have a discussion in the comments. Hope that you guys enjoyed and hope that you have fun and start playing. See you guys in the next video. Bye!